Good morning. We are back on the record in file 24-21841-FC, People of State of Michigan versus Dale Warner. Have just had a brief conversation with the attorneys in chambers. It's my understanding that at this point there are some additional exhibits that the parties have stipulated to in terms of foundation and entry into evidence.
That's correct, Your Honor. We would be stipulating to Exhibit 259 and 261.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to do outside the presence of the jury then?
Your Honor, I believe we would also stipulate to releasing Giada Rowe from her subpoena.
No objection. Thank you.
Okay, so she will be released from that subpoena, and exhibits 259 and 261 will be admitted. Are we ready to bring the jury back then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated. All right, people may call their next witness.
The people would call Detective Daniel Dreher.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes, sir.
You can have a seat.
Can you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
My name is Daniel Drewer, D-A-N-I-E-L-D-R-E-W-Y-O-R.
Where are you employed?
I'm employed by the Michigan Department of State Police.
And what's your title?
I'm currently a detective lieutenant.
How long have you been a detective lieutenant?
For approximately 15 months.
And what was your title prior to that?
Prior to that, I was a detective sergeant.
Okay, and how long were you a detective sergeant prior?
I was a detective sergeant for 3 or 4 years.
How long have you worked for the Michigan State Police in total?
We just eclipsed 12 years, ma'am.
At some point in time, did you become involved in this case?
Yes.
When was that?
That was in March of 2022.
And what was your involvement at that time?
I was a detective sergeant for the State Police Monroe Post, which covers Monroe and Lenawee counties, and the Sheriff's Department the Lenawee County Sheriff's Department had contacted the post and asked for some assistance with this investigation. So I was assigned to assist the detective from the county at that time.
Was it just you that assisted, or were there other agencies?
In addition to asking us for help, the FBI was also involved.
At some point in time, did you completely take over the investigation?
Yes, that would have been August of the same year.
And when you took over the investigation, what was the first thing you did?
There were a number of administrative things that need to be completed, primarily taking all the current evidence and documents from the Sheriff's Department, inventorying them and entering them into our report writing system and property.
Okay, and did you do that?
Yes.
And what types of evidence did you take from the Sheriff's Department?
There was a volume of documents, video, surveillance video, body cam video, There was some physical evidence, some things that have been sent to the lab for miscellaneous testing, and electronic media.
When you took over the case and took that evidence, did you start from the beginning, or what was your goal?
Kind of a combination. So we conducted a complete review of everything that we took from the Sheriff's Department. So that was reviewing all the evidence, all the reports, all the videos, but then also starting our own investigation from the beginning.
And after reviewing at least a portion of that evidence, did you interview the defendant?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
That was in December of 22.
Where was that at?
That was at the Michigan State Police Monroe Post.
And would you say approximately the first 45 minutes or so was just building some rapport with the defendant?
Yes, yeah, practically the first 45 minutes were not necessarily case-specific, more just introducing myself to Mr. Warner.
Okay. Now we're going to get into the actual details of your investigation at a later point in time, next week maybe. So right now I just want to focus on kind of the interview you did. So when you, after that first 45 minutes, what was the first topic of discussion that you had with the defendant?
That would be the weekend of April 24 and April 25, 2021, which is the weekend that Dee Warner disappeared.
So after the first 45 minutes, did you get some general background information from the defendant, such as the businesses and relationships and finances before you got into the weekend?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, we'll play the first portion of Exhibit 221.
Why wouldn't you do something to me?
My soulmate, I love her.
Okay. And what do you think should happen to someone that did do something there?
I'm not so sure that someone did anything to her. I think she just left. There was someone, I mean, she obviously had a come with a plan.
Okay.
She left with someone, they did something, whatever they did. I don't think anyone's done it.
Okay. Can you, kind of in your words, can you describe Dee to me as a person?
The most beautiful woman in the world.
And how about her personality? What can you talk about her as a person?
She could be hot and cold.
What do you mean by that?
She could be sweet and seductive and just the nicest person in the world. And she could be Satan. Within 2 seconds.
How would you describe your marriage overall?
I would describe her marriage as a normal marriage. We have a lot of arguments and disagreements, but look at the business as the thing you're running. You're going to have disagreements on things. And Dee had a hard time leaving business in the office. She would bring it home. If you didn't agree with her way of thinking, then she'd keep on until she convinced you what she was saying was right.
Okay. And how would you describe kind of a normal argument with her? What is that like? The two of you and her?
A normal argument?
Yeah, what's a typical argument like for you two?
And I would start out, she would say, I accuse her of doing something. Or if I catch her, I catch her doing something, well, she told me she was going to go pick something up, but she didn't do it because she went shopping. I said, how can we get this part? You know, I had to have it. Well, you know, I was busy and I had to go do this. And by the end of the argument, she had it completely so far away from the part, it'd be my fault. That walk with her.
You're apologizing at the end?
She's a master of manipulating her own.
Are you sure you're not married to my wife? What's going on here? I got the same treatment.
That's why I did divorce for 13. They're all sisters in the end. Well, that was my biggest thing. We were both home to the counselor, you know, and after the fact, you know, she left a couple months after he's going, hey, no, she left because you were getting better. you were understanding how to talk to her when you had an argument. And you have to, say, okay, honey, and before you get, I would be in the middle of something that she would have argued. He says, you have to stop. You have to sit down and say, okay, what's bothering you? Let's talk about it. And I would never do that until close to before she left. And that's when I was finally, boom, the light goes on. This is what I gotta do. Men from Mars, women from Venus or whatever. I have to sit down and talk to her. As soon as I started doing that, she didn't know how to argue anymore. It's like, oh shit, I'm screwed. Because I sat down, okay, Dee, tell me what you're doing, what you need to do, and how we can fix it. And she didn't know how to handle it. And she just get pissed and take off and walk away or leave.
How often would that happen?
Oh, it was once or twice a week. We had an argument over something.
Okay.
I shouldn't say an argument, we disagree on how to do things, or, where this truck is going, or who this guy's gonna get done. It was always a disagreement on things that are getting done through business.
Okay. And how often would she, to my understanding, it wasn't uncommon for her to leave for a night and go stay somewhere. How often would that happen?
That was random. I don't know.
If you had to guess, how many times a month?
Once or twice.
Okay. And that was consistent?
And it wouldn't be, she would get pissed off and leave, and she'd just go to town go shopping for the day and won't answer her phone. Or if she's really pissed off, she'd take off and go over to Zach's house to stay for a day or two, or you didn't know. I mean, you never knew how long before she'd be back.
Okay.
So that's why I never was worried until Walter sold it by it. And it was wrong, because it just took off and come back.
And before, I have a few questions for you. And again, before I ask these, some of these are just reports we have from other people. So me asking it does not mean that I think it's true. I want you to understand that, okay? And I mean that sincerely. So we have reports from different people regarding there being violence in your household historically between you and Dee. Can you describe that to us?
Different violence. I don't know. There's having a high-leveled conversation back and forth with each other.
Can you describe what you mean by high levels?
Just hollering at each other. He would be saying the F-bomb and screaming, hollering, talking around at me, and I'd be hollering back at her. There was different violence.
And how often would those types of discussions occur?
A couple times on the property, just depended on if the truck got rolled over that day, or if somebody smashed something up, or what went wrong in the business.
I see, okay. So what would you say if the person that had given us that information regarding violence in the household was here, what would you say to them?
He's probably going back hearsay from what someone else told him.
Okay. What can you tell us specifically about the device that was installed on Dee's car on her Escalade? Some people refer to it as a tracking device. What can you tell us about that?
That's all it is.
Okay, so we had received information that there was a device installed in the Escalade and that she had discovered it and it resulted in an argument between the two of you.
There's never anything, never an argument over the Escalade device in that.
Okay, do you know anything about the device in general that she felt was tracking her or something on a vehicle? Is that?
She thought I put one in the Hummer.
Okay, can you tell us a little about that?
I put a diagnostic device plug into it to see how it's running.
Okay.
There's no run or change in it. She figured it was a tracking device. I could tell where she's at.
Okay. Well, why do you think she would feel that way?
She was paranoid. She didn't want anyone to know where she's at, what she was doing. I mean, this is me finding out after the fact.
Okay.
And the Escalade had an OnStar on it, so I could tell where the Escalade was at any time, every time.
Okay.
The last Escalade, not the first one, just the second one.
Okay. And what about there being rumors of her being involved with other men? What would you say to that?
At the time when she left, I would say no, but now I really don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. You've had a lot of time to think about it. Do you think it was possible? Do you think it was true?
I am leaning towards that it was true, but in my mind, I still think that my wife was true to me.
Okay.
What else I don't know, until she's here, before I can ask her to confront her. I guess I want to say she's innocent until she tells me otherwise, or there's proof.
Okay. Had that been a suspicion used in the past? Something you had confronted her on prior to this?
I've never traded her. She would be having an affair with him.
Looking back, were there any indicators that may have been the case back then?
Looking back, yeah, there's a lot of things that would make me question, like I say,
What things? Can you describe it to me?
being gone for hours at a time, the vehicle being gone for me, not being able to account for where you've been, or not wanting to tell me where you've been.
Okay.
So,
Anything else? Okay.
I mean, this is all stuff that I found out in the last 3-4 months, you know. And a lot of it, maybe it's all this, there's so many rumors and so much shit going on.
I'm sure.
Like I say, I'm not gonna believe any of it until she's in front of me, and I can ask her.
Several people have reported instances where you would show up to where Dee was unannounced without having knowledge of your acknowledgement of where she was. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
That's news to me.
Okay, so I can think, correct me if I'm wrong, partner, but one specific example was she was out to lunch with someone and she had been thinking about not wanting to be around you. You're having some argument or disagreement on that specific day, and you had showed up to where that lunch was occurring.
That's completely.
Okay. And again, I'm just asking what's been reported to us. I'm not saying there's any truth to it, okay? And there's a lot of things like that it's important to hear your side, because when you're only getting one side, it makes it look horrible, right? So we want your input. Can you think of a reason why, other than it's obvious, but can you think of a reason why someone would say that about you?
Not a clue. I mean, unless she was saying something negative about me, that person.
Okay.
It's a huge thing in a high-functioning borderline personality. That's what they do.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
My wife, after her diagnosis, is a high-functioning borderline personality.
Mhm.
That's what they do.
Okay.
Is they put the other person down to everyone around.
Okay.
That's one of the characteristics.
In some previous interviews and to other people, you had stated that you were not going to get divorced. But that has been a topic of discussion. Can you explain that a little bit to us?
I don't really have this topic of discussion.
Well, that was something that Dee had made sentiments and remarks to other people that was an interest of hers, and that you two had argued or discussed. I don't want to use the wrong word. Can you describe that to us a little bit?
Divorce was a word that we didn't bring up between each other because that was, you know, we're going to counseling. We had a lot of things going on. And that was one of the things that we told each other we're never going to say to each other's divorce, because that's not what either one of us wanted and resolved. And once you say the word divorce, then you just start throwing it. It's like a word that you can't take back. I say, I hate you. Well, that's in your mind now. You can never take that back. You know, we're going to counseling. If you say, I want a divorce, just because you're pissed, it's in that person's mind now forever.
Yeah.
So you can't get it out. There's certain things that you don't want to cross the line and say because you can't ever take them back. And that's one of those things that Dee and I had between each other. We're never intelligent to that. And yeah, it came out once in a while. But, you know, with the counselor, you can't, there's words that you can't say because you can't take them back. And that's the understanding where we were at.
Okay. A couple of things I didn't cover with the business, I'm sorry. Can you kind of briefly describe the business entities you currently have? I know there's a few different ones.
I guess, can you clarify?
So I know you have essentially the farming business, and you've got buyback, which owns some property, and then you do some agricultural work and spraying, and then there's a trucking company. Can you just describe kind of that empire in its entirety?
There was Warren Farms LLC, it was our farm machine. Warren Farms Services LLC was the spraying fertilizer custom application business. There is Buyback, which is the entity that has all the property in it. Cedar Creek Express is the company that owns all of the trucks and trailers for the trucking company. The trucking company leased all of the trucks and trailers from Cedar Creek.
familiar with buyback, and I know that the other companies own trucks, and I'm not in the farming, so I couldn't tell you.
Yes,
You know, what it is.
DDW investments, that's the biggest, they keep claiming that I sold all the assets of DDW investments. DDW investments didn't own anything other than the Cadillac and Taxpayer. That's the only two things they're going.
I see.
Can I just interject for 1 second? You should tell them about your worry firms and your DBA. Because that is something that has become, I think, for the conservative, an issue now, because they were never aware that Dale Warner.
I've always had Dale Warner DBA Warwick Farms from the beginning.
Okay.
And I still have, the last year and the previous year, everything is farmed in my DBA now. The LLCs are not being used. They're all still there. But everything's going through my personal.
May I ask why?
I'm not going to deal with conservative. I'm not going to work my ass off 20 hours a day. It's paying them.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, the companies are all dead without me. So there's nothing there.
As far as, I'll say day-to-day responsibilities, for lack of a better term, can you describe kind of your responsibilities and Dee's responsibilities when you get into business?
You were in the office. I read it in the office.
Okay.
His responsibility was to make sure all bills and payments were made and everybody was paid. And mine was to make sure all work got done. Everybody got what they made, trucks run the road, things got planted, things got sprayed. I mean, that was my job.
Okay. It's our understanding Dee had expressed the interest in being done with the trucking business. Can you talk to us a little about that? Describe it to us.
I was confused on what she was talking about on being done with the trucking business, and I understand it clearly now. She took so much money out of the company that there was no way to survive.
Can you kind of tell us what she had told you back then about being done, so to speak?
She just kept telling me that the trucking, we're done, the trucking company, we're done. So she kept saying, I didn't understand what the hell she was talking about. And I never knew until a couple months ago where we figured out 6 months after she left what she was talking about. Because I had no clue what she was talking about. She said, we're done. I mean, we got a couple notices that, delinquent taxes are going to garnish your wages, take money out. They'll tell me about take your money out of the account. They're going to do that. The council started questioning, what is this? Don't worry, it's just, you missed the check, it didn't get to them in time. You got it. Well, hindsight looking back, when you get one of these, it's more than just a missed the check. It's just flat out not paid. So they were scrambling around, pay that one that was delinquent at that moment, so that you'd be off the collection list again. And I'm thinking everything's fine and dandy. Well, it wasn't fine and dandy. Zach had been taking and scamming so much money out of the accounts. And it was a godsend when she got the PPP money, because that gave another shot in the arm that they could cover that up for another fucking 5-6 months. And it was down to the point where they couldn't be covered up anymore.
I see. Okay.
And I was going to find it, because they were going to have to come clean. And that was how trucking companies done it. How am I going to deal with it? How am I going to tell Dale? She was at my daughter's soccer game when she called and told me, we're all done. And 10 minutes ago, everything was fine. And they told me, had pizza in the field, everything was great. What has changed? What's happened?
Tell us more about that conversation.
Which one?
When she was at the soccer game and told you.
She called me, it was 9 or 10 in the morning, she was at the soccer game, and I says, Jaron, and I think Brian was here, we're tied on the field in Tipton. And my phone rings, and I said, I gotta take this to Steve. Because I figured she's calling, telling me how she's doing with the soccer game. And she was very upset, and she just says, we're all done. I got into a tie, we're all done. She hung up. That's it. And she would answer my calls all day long. So I'm in complete limbo thinking, what in the hell is going on?
Okay. We'll come back. I have a couple other questions for you regarding business. When 1 year did things go negative with the vegetable farm? Is that in?
It was the year after we bought it. We went through 14 when we bought it, so it was like 15.
Okay.
And a lot of things went bad there because when we purchased it, we were also supposed to purchase from, told us they had contracts for potatoes and different things for the next year. And they didn't. So we were all the stuff, there's no contracts.
Okay. And then, talk to us a little about your finances leading that. What did that look like?
Financing, when we left.
Yeah, your overall, the company and your business finances.
Oh, business finances were in turmoil. I mean, we lost, oh God, close to probably $20 million there. We put hundreds of thousands of dollars in redoing buildings and redoing all stuff, bought equipment for up there. Because we couldn't pay for, we were rolling the John Deere equipment, which you should get a new piece every year. And since we couldn't do that in our dealership here in Tecumseh, we were rolling 30 pieces every year. So he would get 30 pieces and it had just very few hours on it, and he would sell it at a competitive edge over everybody else around. While he was getting, the economy was slowing down, things were slowing down, the pieces weren't selling, his lots were getting fuller and fuller, and my machinery didn't trade every year. We did this 7 years, so he's got 210 pieces of equipment that he's got in the last 7 years from us, and can't sell it. Well, the deal was, I paid the rental payment, or the lease, whatever you would call it, he pays the note off. Well, they talked me into signing a note with Deere, just a 1 year note. So every year with Deere, I'm supposed to pay that piece off. Well, I don't pay it off. The dealership pays it off. I pay the rental. Well, they had so much machinery, they didn't want to pay the notes off. So they was stuck having to pay all these notes off. $5 million I'm supposed to come up with. Well, I can't. So now all my notes are due. My $1 million operating line at the bank is due. My other $500,000 line at the other bank is due. Well, there's this little clause in the bank's thing, even though you've got all your money in the bank, you make the payments to them. If they feel threatened in any way, they can take all the money out of your account and pay all the debts off. And that's the same bank cleans out of my accounts $800,000 that was set up to pay everybody else. They took it off. They paid themselves off. We're free clear. They bounced 35 payroll checks. They bounced a couple hundred other checks that we sent out to make all these payments. So where do you think that left me financially?
I see.
In turmoil.
We had heard that notes were being called back, but we didn't know that those pieces of information, how it specifically played out.
Yeah, the roll program that we had set up with Deere, and it was my own fault. I should have never let them talk me into doing it, but I was paying a quarter of the amount I would pay on a normal market. I mean, John, kind of my payment would be $50,000. I was paying 20. Same $30,000, who would do that?
Yeah.
And that was the same on all these pieces. Well, the dealership, instead of them saying, hey, we can't take these in that trade, let's keep these pieces another year, we'll roll them back in and go through it, they didn't do that. They just didn't pay John Deere.
Just let you hold the bag at the end.
They hold them back.
Okay.
But a lot of it was the manager of the dealership was not telling the owner, Paul Bader, what was going on. Because Paul Bader and I have a great relationship right now. I mean, I own $5-6 million right now. With him. So if he didn't know what was going on, none of this other shit would happen probably. And this all goes back to communication. There was a failure in communication. I assumed the dealership's manager was doing his job. He wasn't. He was covered his own ass. So they threw me to the wolves. And by the time me and Paul Bader got together and talked about what was going on, it wasn't a shit around.
And coming out of that financially,
What I had to do to survive is we sold off all the property we had in Manchester. The Sears Farms, I wrote a check and bought that. I had to sell another 300-400 acres I had in Britain to pay off the bank to get them off. Well, I didn't pay them off to get them satisfied. And Greg Hardy was in this deal because he's this great fucking guy. He's negotiating this deal and helping, which I've been better off not having had him involved. He ends up with 100 acres of mine that he negotiated the deal that they needed another $500,000 to keep me from losing everything. Greg negotiated this deal. But the other only got 2 weeks to come up with this money. And I'm such this is Greg Hardy, this is a good guy, I'll buy that piece of ground from you. But I'm only going to give you this much money, even though it's worth this much money. He set up the deal we set the deal up, I only had 2 weeks. Were you gonna come up with millions of dollars in 2 weeks? There's no one. He set me up to fail.
So he negotiated this deal directly with the bank for you to have whatever extension and come up with X amount, and then gave you X amount for that property, basically, right?
That's
see what you're, okay.
So he fucked me in the deal.
Not, this
So I'm
is,
still here, I still,
I'm not saying this to make you mad, but it was explained to us that you two, meaning you and Dee, were in turmoil, and I'm being dramatic, but running down the street to Greg's house, Greg, please save us, and that's what was essentially told us before. So that makes a little more sense.
no, that's not it at all. He's like, he was trying to come across that he's gonna be the savior. Well, his whole master fucking plan was to fuck us out, and he did.
Which piece of property was that?
Maybe there's 100 acres there. It links. Greg's got about a 300 acre chunk there now, because of my part.
Okay. And how much would that have been worth at the time on the open market, do you think?
We should have been able to get probably 6,000 or 7,000 an acre for it. Greg only gave me 4.
I see, okay. Yeah, that would be sour taste in my mouth, also, I don't blame you.
Well, it did at the time, you know, I'm one that doesn't hold a grudge that much, but I looked at it this way, it saved me all the other properties I had, so it was a cost of doing business. But there is a sour taste in your mouth that, you know, family wasn't there to help his sister like he was trying to come across. He was there to screw her again.
Yeah.
And she was very bitter over it too, but I convinced her to keep her mouth shut and just civil on it. We're here, we'll get through it.
Sometimes, unfortunately, there's a price to pay to reveal someone's true colors too. But you pay to hefty fine to reveal Greg's true shade,
Paid
true shade, you
a
know.
lot of hefty fines, you know, to do what's cost me. I figured 20 million, but, you know, up until we bought that vegetable farm, there wasn't anything that we couldn't do. You know, you feel this sense of invincibility. You know, if you work hard and you go at it, there's nothing you can't do. I mean, kind of American way. You know, if you work hard, you'll do well, you got to. And up until then, there's nothing we couldn't overcome. But up there, we dealt with, we had 150 Mexicans working for us. Lying, stealing, cheating. You know, I should not say much more, but give you an example. Well, it's burned in my fucking brain forever. We had grown cabbage up there. There's a 40-acre field of cabbage. We sent it back down. It's all hand-weeded. There's about 25 Mexicans in the crew that are supposed to help go out. Weed this descends them out the weed. I don't know if they're spraying. And while spraying, there's only 5 or 6 people that steal weed. And I called the info, so we got the next L's we called. I'm like, Dee, there's 5 or 6 people out here in the cabbage. Weed, are they supposed to be here? And she's like, no, I sent the whole crew out there. And I says, well, how many are supposed to be? She says, around 20, 25. I says, there's 5 people here. He says, I'll call and I'll go check. Yeah, there's 25 people punched in. You know, so the property's so big up there, they all jump in their cars. They go back to Lenawee, then 5 of them jump off, they drive around the backside of it, over the camp, because we had housing up there. They drive around, they go to the housing. So 5 people work, and 15 went home, and we're hanging out, in the cabins, and I said, well, it's time to punch out there a little bit, but they go back this way, they drive around here. Over, pick the 5 up, come up to camp, and all punch out.
So who drew the short straws? Which 5 will work, you say? Is it the rotation, or how do you get
I
them
don't know
down there?
how they did it, but that was unbelievable. That's okay. I don't see the rat that day. But any year, I watched everything they did. And they're growing marijuana. I was back in Maryland, they were growing marijuana. It was all muck around Black Earth. They're growing marijuana in all the ditches all over. And come to find out after the fact, after we lost it and sold it, that when they were taking the stuff into Myers and Kroger's, that we were hauling all their pot in the truck. That had distribution at Myers and Kroger's where they were selling it, and they were taking it off the trucks.
Oh, wow. So you get out of that financial trouble. Can you describe what your financial situation was like, you know, April 1st, 2021? What was it like that?
We were struggling. I didn't think, well, we were struggling. We had been struggling since New Russell to get operating loans, and you know, it's a challenge. The prices really were, and they finally got hooked up with a group.
I understand. You had to talk stupid, and you said the prices where they were. What do you mean?
Poor prices.
Okay.
I mean, good, it was $6, $7 a bushel for corn, $15 for beans. Well, corn was back down to 4, beans were down to 9 or 8. So I mean,
Probably with the same operating costs, so you're,
so we're operating at a loss.
okay.
So it was tough, you know, and it was hard because we're paying off a lot of bad debt. We're still paying bad debt.
If the farming is struggling that much, what was keeping you afloat?
Work harder, do more.
In which way? Can you describe that to me?
Instead of working 10 hours a day, you're working 18 to 20. You're farming more ground. You're trying to do more custom spraying.
Mhm.
Time's being pushed to send the trucks out, more loads, more loads.
Okay.
But unbeknownst that, you know, after the fact, we look back, the farming side wasn't losing money, it was making money. But the problem is when you've got 10 guys driving a truck, 5 of those guys are on farm's payroll. The trucking company isn't paying farms back to the 5 guys on the payroll.
I see.
So it's pretty easy to make a trucking company look very profitable when half the employees are on the farm side. All the maintenance that are coming from the auto parts store or the trucking store is being billed to Warwick Farms. You just got $10,000 worth of parts for that truck, great, it's all billed to Warwick Farms. Warwick Farms pays for it. The trucking company's using the truck free and clear, not paying for any parts, not paying for the drivers. Farms is paying the insurance.
Okay.
See where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to buy a lake house unbeknownst to your husband, and you're trying to get it refinanced, so you give them the financials from the trucking company, which looks like you're making a lot of money, 30%. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's no overhead. Who's not making money? No overhead.
Right. Well, then you've got, you know, different places. She tried to sell the trucking company in 2018, and announced me marked on the paperwork, and they're like, no. The industry standard for profitability in trucking is somewhere like 5 to 6%, and you're making 30%, Dee? What's going on here?
How did this deal come up with Laid Law? Can you describe that to us a little bit?
The deal with Laid Law? You know, you guys, talking law enforcement, all these people after the fact, you guys crippled me. My ability to pay bills and stuff was crippled after you guys come in, took phones, took systems out, did what you did. I mean, it was a struggle before. It was more challenging. Then you take into place, fuel costs just doubled. The tire that used to cost me $800 now costs me $1,600. I can't pay that. How am I gonna keep making the payments and all this stuff? You know, Todd sees this, he's a dispatcher, and he knows all these guys that Laid Law. They've been talking to him, hey Todd, what's going to work for us? Why don't you guys do this? It's like, no, we're not leaving jail. We're not leaving. Well, how long buy him now? Bring him down, Todd, we'll talk to him. They made us an offer. We paid off the trucks and debt. I had taken a 5-year non-compete. I've got an agreement with them that I do a lot of maintenance and stuff for them. The rent facilities. All my employees are protected. They've all got jobs. Todd moved over. It was a deal. Did I want to do that? No. Was it a good deal? Yeah. I just eliminated a couple $1 million in debt on trucks. I had to get a non-compete for 5 years. Todd's got a job. I'm still getting rental income. I can make my house payment and keep moving forward. 5 years and then going back. Todd and I will decide. Will every one of the guys come back if I ask them to? Yes, they will. And we have a good relationship with them. And they know there's not a single thing I'll ask them to do that I wouldn't do myself if I had time to do it.
Okay. I just want to ask you something to make sure I understand. So you agreed to a purchase price, and then you signed a contract saying, hey, I won't do any more trucking work, basically, and they're paying you X amount monthly for facility rental, essentially. Okay. And is that facility rental, is that also a 5-year contract?
No, that's
Just a non-compete is?
just a non-compete. Just the facility rental is month to month. So if they choose to leave, they leave whenever they want.
Okay. And then is there a maintenance contract in place for you to maintain vehicles, or they're just paying you?
They just pay us whatever it takes to keep it fixed.
Okay.
So
Okay. Recently, you submitted a some documentation for an SBA loan. You know what's going on about it? Can you describe that to us?
Which one?
Both. I don't know if you there's two of them.
For one for each.
No, there's a $500,000 SBA loan that we took out. Oh, it was, I don't remember, that was first, we took that out to pay off a lot of the debts that was occurred. You know, I'll be there, we're going, so we keep going. And the second one we took out, it was a no-brainer. I mean, our operating loan at the time was, we got a $700,000, $800,000 operating loan. It was a 9% SBA loan. We took out, it was only 3%. I don't have to pay anything back for 2 years, and after that's over 3-year payback, so.
Was that the EAD loan?
No, well, I don't know, the SBA loan, that's one, I don't know what the hell.
See, this is stuff Mark can probably help.
Yeah, that's also a fair market to go over, but I mean, from the accounting side, accounts, this is no brainer. You got it, because you're gonna pay 9% on an operating loan for these guys, and you get this loan here for 3%, you're not paying anything for 2 years. This is no brainer. So that's
I'm sorry, who said that?
the accountants.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Mark was one of them, and our other accountants we talked to, our tax ones and different ones. I mean, you're gonna buy the numbers, and you're gonna go, why would you not do this?
Even I can tell 3 versus 9.
This is huge. I mean, this to the bottom cash flow. No, it's all about the cash flow. So it's no brainer. I mean, there's nothing shady, nothing illegal. The money's all one. I mean, every penny of it, you guys can come look and see what's going on. It's all in the pay bills on the farm. And, you know, the conservator was put into place to protect and conserve these assets. I've done more to do that than anybody else has done. Every bill's been paid.
Yeah, I haven't spoken directly to concerned about this. This is more or less the grapevine, but I think one of the concerns was a copy of Dee's driver's license and passport was submitted with the application.
So that all file. Every business has copies of their employees. My passports in the file, my licenses in the file, my restricted use licenses in the file. Every employee's licenses in their file.
Where is that stuff stored?
It's all in the file cabinets. You guys went through well.
In the manual physical file cabinets? Okay. And again, these are questions that I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but we just have to ask based on what was
That's all you guys should have.
I don't, yeah, not only understanding, I'm not accusing you of nothing.
No, it's just a nice little, that's how much you ever got. Same procedure any place you go to the medical office, the first thing you gotta get is your driver's license and your bill card, take a copy of the file.
Yeah, I'm not running a $1 million business, and I have my stuff saved in my drive, you know, I'm like, I Google Drive, because I need it for this or that, so I understand completely. There was also some questions raised about a power of attorney. Dee had signed, can you talk to us about that?
I don't know about it, go ahead.
When were those made, or when were those signed, you know?
I don't remember what the date were, the dates on our return, I think it was 12 or 14. I think, we've got our attorneys on lots of things. I mean, I've got them at Farm Service Agency, I've got them for, was Tom Norwood at the time, Matt Luck at the time, Rob Brisky at the time, Dee, myself, she had the same attorneys for me. I mean, it's the normal business operating paperwork we have.
Okay. Do you remember when or where those were signed specifically?
I don't know, they're all notarized and slam witnessed. The same ones, the one in the Farm Service Agency, I think Dan was in the office at the time, he notarized them, or Stephanie was a notary. Stephanie did it too.
Okay.
Or before we had notaries at our own office, we went over to Brisky's and he had a notary in his office there, notarizing, or we were running to the bank.
Okay, yeah, I know where I was there. Okay. Do you have any question on the business guy?
There was some questions to 2 operating agreements. There really is only one operating agreement. It was, other than the one that Dee manufactured afterwards.
Well, yeah, the one she fabricated up for DPW, that's what she made one of them, just her name on it, but the other. There's been addendums done to the operating agreements. And the first addendum that she did, Dee wrote one, she was under the understanding that she had to retype the whole operating agreement. So the one that the question you're putting on YouTube that is a fake or something, because she retyped the whole operating agreement and put the addendums page 1. She made, so it's like 14 or 15 pages. So she copied the whole agreement with the addendum and we signed it, we don't have to do that. All you have to do is type up the addendum and sign it with the original agreement. She was under the understanding that she had to redo it every time. So she's like, this is a pain in the ass, Bill. I don't have to retype this every time. And that's what she emailed him to when he was kind of chuckling like, no, you don't have to do that. She just got to do page 1. So it was kind of the time.
Business questions, good?
No, I've never.
Okay.
But I mean, whenever you guys have questions, just come up. If you guys have to come up to the office, it's an open door.
Okay.
Nothing to hide. We're not doing anything that's shady.
I don't think that at all, no. It's unfortunate that a lot of questions we have to ask just because of the circus.
Well, that's
You know what I mean?
what makes me feel like you guys are being led around, because it's all shit that it's fabricated by them, so once it's fabricated, you gotta ask. That's why we joke with you, as Rick said here today, because it's a joke between you and me, so
Trust me,
don't take
I
it.
am not getting your Christmas card if I heard it, I can promise you.
You
You might get one before me, how about that? What can you tell me about Dee and her migraines?
I've taken her to the hospital several times because she'll get a migraine, she'll lose vision, her voice will start slurring, her face will sag, it looks just like a stroke, it's scaring her down. I took her to the hospital several times. Go to the hospital, it's very frustrating because they don't do anything, they push in her room, they just leave you there. You know, she's very in pain, and I'm feeling helpless. They finally do give her something, it's like, what can we do? There's nothing we can do. I can just cover at home and done this. You know? And where were her kids doing any of this shit went on? Not fucking one around. She called, they didn't come. They didn't come. They never come. Ever.
How long has she been having it? When did we start?
Since I met her. I think she had him back when she was married to Tim. I think she had one with Tim. She said they thought it was a stroke and she lost her face sag. I think that was the worst one she had. That's what they call it, like a mini stroke. Yeah, you'd have to ask Tim what that first one was, but I don't remember what she had. They were getting more and more frequent, but she had a vertebra in her neck that was deteriorated, so it's, the nerves were on each other, so we were going up to Chelsea to the pain clinic. They were giving her injections in her neck for the pain. And before, I didn't know, but I think she'd been hooked on the oxycodone and stuff for quite a while.
That's scary.
Yeah. And you guys seen all the bottles and stuff I found in the house, didn't you?
I couldn't tell you how much, but I'm familiar with what you mean.
Yeah, there's bottles and bottles. I found them everywhere. I'm still finding stuff in the camper. There's a little pill bag. It's just.
Were you ever concerned she may be getting them elsewhere? That was your one?
Hindsight, yeah, now I know, but I was oblivious at the time.
Yeah.
That was always someone else's problem. That's not, my boyfriend's not here.
And
Blind to it.
I'm telling you that's, everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
It's never their kid, it's never their wife, it's never
And
their
I know exactly where they're coming from now, because I look back and I go, I'm a fucking guy. You know, there's 10 bottles of oxycodone, I could go get you 10 bottles of it right now, out of my house. Or in the drawers. And now I'm talking, thinking, you guys, I need to get that shit the fuck out of there, because I got a 10-year-old dog in the house.
Yeah, it's scary to have around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't know what else she was doing. I don't was oblivious to.
Did you, aside from the oxycodone, do you know what other pills she may have been taking that were prescribed her?
I don't know what they are. I mean, there's a bunch of them. She had for depression, she had for a lot of different things.
I'm sorry, I need to back up 1 second. Now, how often does she have a migraine, would you say?
Oh, sorry.
Maybe?
She'd have at least once a month or more.
Okay. And can you describe what that was like for her?
Just unbearable pain in her head. And it got to the point where she always talked about the pain and you'd just get hard to because you heard it so much you didn't believe it anymore. I mean, like a kid growing up crying wolf. You know, sometimes you feel like she's just using it as a crutch to, I got a migraine, I'm going back to the house to get away from you. But the pain level was unbearable. talking to you, you know, if you're talking to someone where you have eye contact, she'd be talking to me and she'd be looking off over here because she couldn't see me.
And what was,
And her voice started getting slurred a little bit. And that's when I knew it was bad.
okay. And what was her behavior like when that was occurring? What was she doing?
She would still try to be, she would try to fake it and be normal.
Mm-hmm.
But she just couldn't function. Her voice would be slurred and she just would not be acting right. I'm like, honey, you just need to lay down. So I just get her to lay down or just to get her to calm down. She would, at first when it was first going on, we'd get her a beer or some alcohol to thin her blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the theory was, it would help. And that helped at first, but after a while it didn't help anymore. And she had some, the one doctor that she was going to had some pills that they had made. It was a combination of three different drugs. And she'd take them, and it was for migraines.
Okay.
And that helped. And the one pharmacy, there's only one pharmacy, it was up by Chelsea, that I guess they had to custom make them there. And that's where she got those, and that seemed to help the most.
Okay.
It would do it. I mean, she would still, some of the pills you take, like codeine, oxycodone or whatever, then she'd just be a zombie. But this here, she could still function, she could talk, and it'd be more like the normal Dee. She'd just be a slowed down version.
And aside from you said looking back, you could see things with the pills. Did you have any suspicion then, or see her taking pills that you thought were in excess?
I always thought, I don't take any pills, so I always thought it's an excess if she's taking anything. Why are you taking those? But I guess I'm just a freak that doesn't have, I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I'm already a freaking freak, because I don't drink alcohol, but
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I don't know, because I'm not to work, you know.
It's a good problem, that.
Well, yeah, I didn't spend any time with my first 4 kids, because all they did is work, so I'm making it up for things, you know.
Initially, when this happened, and I don't want to misquote you, so please correct me if I'm saying something that you said out, you correct me if I'm wrong, sincerely, okay? You guys made a statement about she's in Jamaica. And what made you think that?
She loves it there. She's fascinated with it down there. And what makes me think that I will find her. I will find her actually. She's in Jamaica, or she's in Mexico. And the reason I say she's in Jamaica, and when we're down there, she was fascinated with it. She was always off with it. What would you call it? Person that's in charge of the resort that, you know, gives you all the information, can get you anything you want while you're there, take you wherever. And she's always fascinated. When you're in Jamaica, with the resort, you look up on the hill. There's all these mansions way up on the mountain, you know. Who are those up there? I want to go up there. That's all the drug cartels. That's all the people that you don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
She's fascinated. She's there. Here too. You tell my wife she can't do something, she's a pretty girl. She's gonna go what she's gonna do. She was on that cruise ship. It's about 3 years ago when she went with Stephanie Mills. She found somebody in that ship that hooked her up, or they hit it off like her and I did years ago. And they told each other some dreams of what they wanted to be or what they wanted to do. She's in Jamaica up in the mansions, or she's in Mexico, and some of the places you don't want to go to.
This person she hit off with, can you describe it to me?
He was a guy on the boat. He was one of the directors or one of the top guys there. And it was either him or an associate of his that was on the boat. He was very well off, very well to do. And she was hanging with them a lot. This is according to my brother. And just the things that Dee would tell me, you know, we did this. And then she'd tell me, she's like, you can see in the back of my head, oh shit, I should have told that. I mean, they left Stephanie, which is the worker in the office, or Stephanie, and Dee went on the cruise. I would go, I don't like boats, I won't want to boat. She was pissed, I'll show you, I'm going to go anyway. So she took Stephanie, she took Angela, and Stephanie took her dog. So, then my brother went, and Amy and their daughter, and my sister went, and Miranda, because Miranda had cancer, that was her last trip before she passed away. So my brother then left the girls all with Dee and Stephanie for that night. Well, Stephanie and Dee put the girls in the room, put a movie in, they go out kids in the room all by themselves on a boat with 8,000 fucking people. And I find this out after the fact. My brother says, you know, I really don't want to say this to you, but I'm going to tell you because my daughter was left alone in the room by Dee and Stephanie went out bar hopping. And Angelina called me in the middle of the night, scared because no one was in the room with them. And my brother, they were furious. But they left her in the room. Why didn't you just have her come back out of her room? Well, while they're out bar hopping at night, that's when she's with these guys on the ship.
And you're learning about this after the fact?
I learned this. I've got bits and pieces of this now for 4 years, 3 years.
Okay.
I'm trying to go back together in my mind. And I'm thinking, okay, she's on this cruise ship. Like she's on the cruise ship, she bought $10,000 ring. She bought another $5,000 of the jewelry here that I found receipts in the mail. You know, and we're in Jamaica, she's buying jewelry. I find out after the fact I get home. She's fascinated with these places up on the hill. Wanting to take off and go to town by herself. I'm like, no, you can't. Well, then she goes and that seminar guard with her where she'd go. So she's there, she's in Mexico, these places.
And I just want to be clear, specific with...
You know, that's my gut.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So specific with the guy that you met on the cruise ship, that's something that you're thinking hindsight, or you have something to...
I don't have anything backed up other than what she's told me and different. It's all speculation.
Okay. And the reason why I asked...
I mean, even the kids in the room, like my brother didn't back up, hanging out.
I think I heard that before.
I mean, that'll all back up. But as far as anything else with speculation, that's on her husband. That's my gut feeling. I mean, I know my wife.
Okay. You had this gut feeling that she's in Jamaica or Mexico, and can you describe how she would have gotten there without a passport or without crossing a border?
You don't need a passport to get to Mexico. You don't need to go get to Jamaica either. If you guys think you got that one, guys, really.
Well, obviously that's the most common way to get there, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
So if you were her, how would you have gotten there without one? Can you describe that to me?
Well, she's gonna get driven down to Florida. She's gonna get on a boat. She's gonna go over. You don't need a passport to get to Jamaica. You give $50. Mexico, you get $10. I seen that come back from Mexico. Our guys lost their paperwork. We took a computer down there. Didn't have nothing. On the back, you got $10 on the plane. You know, we're going.
Okay, when was that?
I can tell you, it was 2 years ago, and when Dee and I just went down to Jamaica. Was it 6 months before she went missing, or wasn't too long before that? Nothing's changed. I mean, the guy that works over Dad, Ozzy, the black guy that works over there, he's from Jamaica. His brother's a detective down there. You know, it's all money. You get some money, you can get anything you want. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Specifically on the money topic, where would she have gotten this money to do this? Because now it's been a long time to have survived this money. Where would she have gotten it?
Mark's still tallying up how much money she's got. We're still puzzled on where she could have phoned it or how she's got the money, where she did it. I haven't got the answer to that yet.
Okay. And you had previously made statements about money missing from the safe. Can you describe that to us?
I think there's money in the safe that's gone. Something.
How much money was in the safe?
There was approximately close to, for sure, between $75,000 and $100,000 cash in the safe.
Okay. And can you describe how that money was collected or how it came to be?
It was, we sold different pieces of machinery, and, you know, over the time, you take your paycheck, you put $100 aside, you put it in the safe, and it's just accumulated over years.
Okay. And then how much was missing when she left?
I don't remember for sure Kevin would know because we went down there and looked. And it seemed like there was only like 18 or 20,000. I mean, don't quote me. I'd have to ask Kevin because I think we looked her calendar or did something at the time. It seemed like there's only like 18 or 20,000 left.
When you say Kevin, you're referring to Greca? Make sure I'm clear. Okay. And can you, if I was leaving forever, I would leave anything behind. Can you explain that?
I know. She knows that. I figured she left that because that was the amount of money that she figured I had been putting in there for my paychecks from what I saved since forever. So I guess she had a little guilt that she left. I don't think she did, I don't understand.
Okay.
You know, like you said, what, just as easy to take it all, when she left the one bag that, the one that I couldn't.
She ended up with a bank account, the TCF account.
Yeah, TNC.
That was, that she was using to fund money and then from DTW investments and some other stuff.
Most of the money was from, they had an auction, sold different pieces of machinery and her stuff. And some guys paid cash. She put in there. And she said it was her money, and I felt back on it. She said it was her money, but she thought it was hers.
And a lot of those financial questions, we're awaiting a financial forensic audit, so a lot of those questions are going to be answered. We just don't have them right now, essentially. But specifically with cash, it's sometimes hard to show where from where.
Well, it's a car over years, it's kind of.
Yeah, a lot of them we're going to discover, but that's a lot of so many to have in a house. So I was interested if you had a specific thing, like we sold this tractor is worth X or something large, but nothing like that comes to mind. Okay. Okay.
I mean, that might be a large amount of money for her. So it's not for, it wasn't for us. I mean, we had $100,000 in saved at all times. Over to, or like the Briskey's had $1 million in saved business all the time. It's also the size of the volume of business.
How long have you made money like that for that amount to save?
Oh, we've always had $50,000 to $100,000 in saved, even when we're getting bankruptcy. I mean, that's your cash reserve. What you're going to do, if everything goes to hell, get that money to the.
Okay.
That's not money that you're going to use to make a house payment or these other payments. That's the money that you have to buy food on the table to live on.
Okay.
Imagine if I own your house, you probably have some cash that's away somewhere from your wife. You got your kids and you're not going to. I'm assuming that.
My wife isn't trusting me for money, so I couldn't tell you.
So you're my excuse.
I'm telling you, I mean, I got her earlier, I wasn't kidding.
I can tell you I do not have $100,000.
Okay, you have to forgive me, we gotta get into a couple more parts here, but I have to step out and use the restroom. Can I get you another water all now?
I'm not going to use the restroom.
Okay, you guys know where that one is, and just actually go one at a time? Yeah. Is that all right? There's another water in the corner I'm gonna use. Sure.
So just briefly for some clarification, you're sitting on the far left and it's your back is towards is that a body camera or what kind of camera is that?
That's a camera mounted to the wall.
Okay, and who's sitting directly to your right?
That's my partner at the time, Detective Sergeant Scott Singleton.
Okay, and across the table from you, who's seated directly across from you?
To my left is Dale Warner.
Okay, and to his right?
To my right
your right.
is his attorney at the time, Larry Lieb.
Okay. And is the Dale Warner that you were talking to, is he in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can you point to him and identify the color of tie he's wearing?
Yes, he's wearing a light gold tie.
Okay. I should have asked if you were ask the court if we want to take a brief recess because we do have about another hour worth of body cam, so.
Okay, the record will so reflect, and why don't we take about a 10-minute recess, give people a chance to get up and move around a little bit.